Well, another Christopher Nolan film. And he's out of the park again. Christopher Nolan's new film, Oppenheimer, debuted just a few days back now. Haven't got a chance to see it until today, which is when I'm making the review. And as of now, it is currently being seen. It's just after Barbenheimer, and people are loving Oppenheimer. And here's my review of the movie. It stars Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, and a lot more. So the film is a biography of Robert Oppenheimer, who was the man who invented the atomic bomb. And it revolves around the Trinity test, the first ever known test of an atomic bomb. And it's about this one man's life leading up to the events and after the events. The film itself is nearly 3 hours long, so there's a lot going into this film, and by the end of it, you feel like you're just there, like silent afterwards. I luckily got to see this at an IMAX, which was incredible, and the film's just a really possibly the favorite of the year so far for me. I don't think there's really anything wrong with this film. Um, yeah, there's nothing I can think of that's wrong about this. Everyone's on their A game, so acting is all good here now. However, the cinematography is amazing. The sound, whoever did the sound for this film needs a pay rise. And I mean, you have an Oscar. Well, I would say it'd be the Oscar winning performance from Cillian Murphy. Obviously, he hasn't won an Oscar. I don't think so, at least. But like, this is one that should get him noticed by the Oscars. So that already gone through the plot details. So first of all, the film makes an interesting choice to have the origin of Robert Oppenheimer, like how he got along in school and stuff. This is all kind of in the beginning. It's very brief but very effective. Then we have the story about the atomic bomb being created. Then with the little story about how Robert Downey Jr.'s character kind of enters the fray in kind of like a courtroom, almost like a courtroom, but like this is the segment that's in black and white. We learn about Oppenheimer's life after the bomb has gone off, and we also learn about a little bit more backstory between him and another famous a scientist of that time, or as they refer to it, that you've probably all seen in the trailer. So the film, the film's just a awesome 3 hour length. It's an epic, and while time does drag a bit, it drags when it needs to. Christopher Nolan proves here now that he is a master that's here to stay. Like, he hasn't crafted a bad movie. He's crafted really confusing movies. He's done that before. But like, none of them are bad. And Oppenheimer kind of stands out as being one of the better ones of his catalog. Again, there's no bad Christopher Nolan movie. He's one of those directors who just has a clean slate of good movies. And some are preferred over others. Like, for instance, I prefer The Dark Knight Rises over The Dark Knight. Fight me. Because I just think that's my personal favorite of the trilogy, but like, that's just a rough example. And I think this is just another film where Christopher Nolan gets to show us. He's called it a horror movie, even though it's like a drama biography, but I can definitely see the angle where he's coming from. This film is intense. When I say intense, I don't mean like intense in the Mission Impossible intense. So, like, I love the series, but you can kind of tell that they're nearly gonna always survive, right? Now those films are brilliant, But this film has that kind of eerie, creepy atmosphere, and it's all around this one man who's doing all these different things. And Killian Murphy's faces that he puts on are so good at communicating the emotions on display. Like, he'll put on a face and you can tell exactly what your man's thinking without him saying a word. You see excitement in his performance. You see genuine terror in his performance. You see contempt within it. You see he brings out just all the best aspects of acting in this. And I firmly believe if the Oscars do not get him nominated, that there will be a brawl. Okay, no, maybe not brawl, but you get the idea that I'd be surprised, to put it lightly, be surprised if the Oscars allowed didn't put Cillian Murphy into the fray at all. Um, but yeah, just damn. And then we have Robert Downey Jr. stealing the show as well. He brings in a fantastic performance as well. Your man hasn't forgotten a step since Iron Man. He's rarely upset in and after Marvel. And Matt Damon, I forgot to mention him, but Jesus, he's really good in this. He has this kind of military like persona that you imagine with like military people, but he has this kind of on and off, well, not on and off, like kind of like this dynamic with Oppenheimer that's very interesting and keeps rhythm going throughout the whole film. And it's an interesting dynamic because, you know, you get a feeling that you can trust him and that Oppenheimer trusts him, but at the same time you get this like one wants something, the other wants another thing, sort of thing. One they'll agree on, the other they'll not agree on. And it's kind of like this, you know, like switch of power dynamics. And all of this is communicated best by the actors. They're one reason to see a film. Florence Pugh is in this film, and she's brilliant. I mean, granted, she's not in it too long, but like, she's in it. She is brilliant. Emily Blunt, another great performance by her. Like, they picked the best actors for the job. And the film, this is a good reminder to Hollywood actually that this film has 100 million bucks roughly behind it. And it's so much bigger in scale, at least in comparison to other movies, such like superheroes. Like, I enjoy superheroes, but I don't want, like, if a film like Oppenheimer can come around on a budget of 100 million bucks and look more realistic and do more stuff practically, I'd rather have things that way. Nolan is a practical masterclass. I think this is his best directed film by far. And, you know, just when you trust a director enough to allow them to do their story on a certain person who changed history without like interfering with their ideas. Does Christopher Nolan do everything with practical? No. There's the odd CGI touch up here and there, but like most of these are done practically, and it just floor drops you. The score by Ludwig Göransson from Tenet fame, I believe. I think he is. As you can tell, it's probably unscripted, but his score is really good as well. Everyone's just brought their A game to this. This is the best way to construct a film. Think of like a man's rise and fall about creating this. And film opens with some pretty good descriptions of how the story plays out. And like the way Nolan weaves everything together, it reminded me a bit of Pulp Fiction, how stuff is weaving together. Now obviously it's not nearly as uh like this is Nolan's most dialogue heavy film, so it does have a bit of that Quentin Tarantino feel to it. But I don't see anything wrong with the film. Like for what it's to do, it's pretty good. It's a masterpiece. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Go see this on the biggest screen you can. You won't regret it. And yeah, also quick notification. I will try and get to Barbie. It's just the last few days now. Hasn't been the easiest, so if you're keeping up with my channel, you know that that I will have Barbie up hopefully soon, but there's a few things going on at the moment, so just be a bit more patient. And yeah, that's my review of Oppenheimer done.